lot of the prep work done. Now we're gonna get down into how to make the chili a great chili. And there's a bunch of little things that people don't think about when they're cooking. One of them is, I'm just cooking the onions right here, and I could cook the onions, or I could put in a tablespoon of butter, which is what I'm going to do. The other thing that a lot of people forget about when they're doing recipes like a chili, they forget to season the meat because they think the meat's going into something so they don't need to season it. That's wrong. My favorite seasoning is the Keg Montreal steak spice, and I put this in most of my ground beef when I'm making different dishes. So as those two things are going, I'm going to start putting the bacon out into the oven. So one way to save yourself some time and some hassle is to cook your bacon on a baking sheet. Now lots of you probably already do this. I only learned this a couple of years ago, and it saves you so much time and effort. And then you can focus on everything else. Now this is one of the secret ingredients to my chili. Now bacon does make everything taste better, so it's no surprise that bacon will make chili taste better, but this is one of the ingredients that I use to make my chili. Now, contrary to popular opinion for people that have watched The Office, you do not want to undercook the onions. That is a myth that Kevin Malone made up. It's nice when you cook the onions to a nice, almost browned. They'll still put lots of flavor into the chili, but because we're using this kind of stove and we're cooking them in butter, we're going to cook the onions a little bit slower, so they are going to take a little bit longer. But we have everything else going right now. We got the bacon in the oven, all the cans are open. Okay, so now while the onions, the bacon, and the ground beef are cooking, we can put together the rest of the ingredients in a pot. And so first thing we're going to throw in is some kidney beans. Now kidney beans, I always rinse them because I don't like the kidney bean juice in my chili. Then we're gonna go with some Bush's baked beans. This one's maple syrup. I like a little bit of sweetness in it. I also drain the corn. I don't like the corn juice. And we're gonna get some tomatoes. I don't drain the tomatoes because the tomato juice is good for the base. I'm gonna get some tomato sauce. Now tomato sauce, you always wanna use a good tomato sauce. Now this one is roasted portobello mushroom. And so that's gonna be a really nice flavor for the sauce. And here comes one of the big, important secret ingredients. It's refried beans. Now refried beans gives the sauce, the juice, a really nice flavor because I find in a lot of chilies, the tomato flavor, the tomato sauce flavor is too strong and you feel like you're just eating tomato sauce. And it makes it a thicker chili and it's just really nice flavor. So I've been doing this for the last probably 5 or 6 years, been putting refried beans in my sauce, and I absolutely love it. So you're gonna pop one of those cans in there. I've never actually made a chili this small. I usually make chilies about 3 times this size, and so this is a bit different for me. I find when you're making a chili, the bigger the better because you can always just put it in the freezer and in small Ziploc bags, and then you have meals easy to go. So when you're making chili, I recommend making a massive pot and then freezing a little bit. When it comes to us, we eat a lot of chili, so we make a pot triple this size. It will be done in a couple of days anyways. So I'm gonna put in one of the carrots because this is a bit of a smaller pot. So I'm gonna put one of the carrots in. And then the next thing that's really important, I'm not gonna put it in yet, but I'm gonna show you guys is the chili powder. Chili powder is really important for the flavor of the chili. And so this is the one that you can buy from Costco. It's Clubhouse brand. I don't recommend doing just this one. I recommend going with a 50-50 blend. So when this was about halfway done, we filled it up with a different seasoning, and this is the one that we used. We used this one. We bought it at Save On. It's also Clubhouse, but it's a lighter color, it's a lighter flavor, and it has a bit more of a chili flavor to it. So we found that mixing these two seasonings kind of made the best chili seasoning, and so that's what I've been using the last couple of years. The last thing is I'm going to put in a pinch of brown sugar. You don't need a lot of brown sugar, but just throw in about a tablespoon of brown sugar. It really helps with the flavor. It makes it a nice little sweet and spicy. I love the sweet and spicy contrast.
We have the bacon done now, so line the bacon up and chop it into nice bite-sized pieces.
And I like putting a little bit of the bacon fat in it. Especially, not everything should be a healthy meal, so putting a little bit of the fat of the bacon in there. Just adds to the flavor. Don't be afraid to add a little bit. We're not gonna use all this meat. We're gonna use about 500 grams. I cooked about 1,000 just because I have a little extra now for something else. And then we're gonna pop in that 1 onion with all the buttery goodness that goes with it. Oh yes, that looks good. Okay, we're gonna mix that all together. You wanna mix it before you put in the seasoning, kind of see what you're dealing with. In this case, it looks like I am a little bit too thick, so I'm gonna pop into the fridge. So chili is also one of those things where you just gotta make small adjustments. Now this one's already pre-mixed with the other one, so I'm gonna open that up, and you're gonna put in probably close to a tablespoon of this for this this size, and then you're gonna mix that up. And then again, with this kind of thing, if you didn't have the carrots, you could almost only put this on the stove for about 15 minutes, but because you have the carrots in here, and usually I also have some celery, you're gonna have to cook it for about an hour and a half, but I prefer that because by cooking it for an hour and a half, that seasoning's really gonna get in there. If you only cook it for 15 minutes, you're kind of cheating yourself out of some flavor. So I recommend not just doing the 15-minute route, but cooking it for a full hour to hour and a half to get that full flavor. If you are on a time crunch, you could always saute the carrots and the celery with the onions and then have a bit of a shorter cook time. But again, if you have the time, cooking it for an hour to an hour and a half on low heat and just letting it really simmer together is the best way to go. That's how I make my chili. I really love this chili. My family really loves this chili. I hope you guys enjoy this recipe, and I hope you guys give it a try, and let us know what you think of the recipe once you do give it a try. We look forward to seeing you in the next video, and if you have any mortgage questions, always feel free to reach out to us. We're always available for questions, and if you got any questions about the recipe, feel free to shoot us a message on our Facebook page or leave a comment, and we'll be sure to get back to you. Thank you for joining us. That concludes this episode of us making chili together. We hope you enjoy the recipe and this video. From our family to yours. Enjoy.